Good morning, students. We start our new chapter, that is chapter 3, periodic classification of elements. Can you guys think that how many elements till today discovered? Yes. So I want to tell you that there are 118 elements till today that are discovered. So it's not simple. There is a long journey behind the discovery of each and every element, and the problem is associated with these discovered 118 elements to classify in such a manner so we can simply study all the chemical and physical properties of each and every element. Okay, so as the discovery of element is going on, there is a difficulty to classify these elements. Okay, so some of the scientists made some efforts to classify these elements into different categories according to their views. So this is the modern periodic table that I shown on your screen. You can see here. This is your advanced and modern periodic table that you see on your screen. Up to here 118, all the elements are discovered. Okay, so it's not so simple work. There is a contribution of various scientists. So I enlist some of these scientists uh, which are which produce such periodic table. Okay, this complete chapter may study into two portions. One is development of periodic table, and another is periodicity. In case of development of periodic table, we're going for different classification of elements, different laws which are given by different scientists along with their uh, discovery here. Okay, so let's start. So this is a very brief idea about the development of periodic table. You can see the name of the scientist along with the year. So first attempt was made by Lavoisier, Anthony Lavoisier, in 1789. Okay, so Lavoisier classify element into two categories. One is metal and non-metal. At that time, no more metalloid is discovered, but the biggest drawback or limitation of this classification is that after discovery of metalloids, scientists get confused that in which category we include these metalloids. This classification is insufficient after discovery of metalloids. So after this, next scientist, that is John Wolfgang Daubenheimer, also gives some suggestions, and the law, that is law of triad. Basically, triad is the group of three elements. That is called triad. Tri means three. That law is given by Daubenheimer in 1829. So Daubenheimer arranged three elements into a single group called triad. Next, as the discovery of element is going on, approx 56 elements were discovered, and Newland tried to classify them in year 1863 to as 1864. Okay. So he arranged 8 elements into 8 groups, the later known as octave. Okay, come to the next. So pioneer work was considered for the scientist, that is Dmitry Mendeleev. In 1869, he proposed a periodic table named as periodic table, Mendeleev periodic table. Basically, Mendeleev done a pioneer work in the field of classification of elements. That's why Mendeleev classification is treated as a pioneer work because today periodic table is completely follow the Mendeleev periodic table. Okay, it is not the fault of the Mendeleev that 118 elements are not discovered at the time of Mendeleev. Okay, because of that, Mendeleev periodic table is having various blank spaces. So Mendeleev periodic table is one of the important table because it provides the basic theme to classify element in rows and columns. There was the first scientist who arranged element in rows and columns. And our modern periodic table that was given by Henry Moseley in 1938. That is that was completely based on this Mendeleev periodic table. Okay. And it also arrange elements in rows and columns. That's why Mendeleev periodic table is the important one. So this is a brief idea about the contribution of various scientists in development of periodic table. On to the next. In brief, we just read the words. Lavoisier made first attempt to classify 33 discover elements as metal, non-metal, and metals. Tavernier arranged elements into groups of three elements. Later they are called triads. If you take one of the example that is Li Na key, that is lithium, sodium, and potassium, that represent a triad. The important things about the triad is that atomic mass of middle element. You can see here lithium, sodium, and potassium is a group of three elements called triad. It's called triad. The correction law of triad. Okay, that's correct. So this is a triad, Lagrangian triad. This is first element, and that was last element. That is third element. And the masses of potassium and lithium are 7 unified unit and 39 unified unit. Okay. The important things about triad is that the arithmetic sum of atomic masses of first and third elements is equal to atomic mass of middle element. You can see here the arithmetic sum, that means average, 7u plus 39 divided by 2 gives 46 by 2, that is 23. That is the correct mass of soul. That is a basic theme of this triad. Okay. So other than this triad, that is Ka Sarva, that is calcium, strontium, and barium. Okay, you can see a lot of other triads. Okay, on to the next. That is the law of octave. I give you only a brief knowledge about this classification because I know you completely study these subtopics in your class 10th in detail. Okay, so I do not want to talk about their drawbacks, limitations. I just give the requirement data only. This is quite important for you. You can see here about the law of octave that was given by Newland. Octave is a group of 8 elements where chemical properties of first and eighth elements get similar. And just like musical notes, you can see here we have 7 musical notes. First and eighth musical note is become same as similar. The property of first and eighth elements is similar here. If we count in my way. Lithium is the first element, then sodium is the eighth element. Okay, if you start numbering from sodium, the sodium will consider as first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Potassium will be the eighth. So, basic observation that was made from this law of octave is that the properties of first and eighth element are similar. As similar, the properties of barium and magnesium are similar, and magnesium and calcium are similar. Okay, as similar, uh, properties of fluorine and chlorine are similar. So, law of octave arrange the element into groups of 8 and 8 elements in such a manner. So this is all are about law of octave. Come to the next. That is Lothar-Meyer curve. That curve is considered to be the basis of Mendeleev periodic table because Lothar-Meyer curve uh, was drawn in between atomic masses and atomic volume. Okay, you can see the elements up to strontium that represent a particular curve. So I dictate some location of these elements like a top position, ascending position, descending position, and bottom. Why this Lothar-Meyer curve is so important? I already told you that Lothar-Meyer curve was formulated or drawn in 1864 at the time of Newland, and Mendeleev made this curve as a basis and arranged elements according to their atomic masses. That provide the basic idea about that. You can see here. So if you study this Lothar-Meyer curve, and you observe that the top position that was occupied by alkali metals like potassium, rubidium, sodium. These are alkali metals which occupy the top positions. If we see the ascending position, then you observe then you observe you can see here ascending position was occupied by noble gases. You can see here argon, neon is there, and just pre to ascending position, these positions were occupied by halogens like fluorine, chlorine, bromine. You can see here. So ascending position goes to noble gases, and pre-ascending goes to halogens. Okay, and descending position was occupied by alkaline earth metal. These are calcium and strontium. You can see here calcium, strontium that occupy the descending portion, and the bottom portion that was occupied by transition elements. You can see here. So this is all are about Lothar-Meyer curve. Okay, so after this Lothar-Meyer curve, Mendeleev made his basis and formulate the periodic law and Mendeleev periodic table. As you know, that the Mendeleev periodic table containing 7 period and 8 columns. Okay, where columns are called rows, while the rows are called periods. So from first to seven, first to seven groups are subdivided into subgroups like first A, first B, second A, second B, third A, third B, fourth A and fourth B, like that. An earth group containing 9 elements. You must know about it. This is all are about Mendeleev predictor. Okay, so Markov Mendeleev considered to be the pioneer because of lot of merits of this uh, predictable. The first one is Mendeleev correct the incorrect atomic masses. Okay, like uh, atomic mass of the beryllium, and Mendeleev also predict the elements which were not discovered at the time of Mendeleev, like Eka aluminum, Eka silicon, just like. And Mendeleev was the first scientist who arranged elements in rows and columns. That was predicting merits of Mendeleev periodic table. A similar Mendeleev periodic table also has some demerits, like question of isotopes because they are having different atomic masses, and portion of hydrogen that is still controversial. Okay, so this is all about Mendeleev periodic table. So we can briefly I can again repeat this. First effort was made by Lavoisier, then Lavoisier, then Euler, then Mendeleev, and then Henry Moseley that gave the modern predictor. Okay, so this is your modern predictable. I'll leave some spaces behind. These all are filled today. Okay, uh, I write only uh, selected elements because this is very important to learn. You can see the periodic table. The whole periodic table is classified into four blocks: S block, D block, P block, and F block. Okay, you can see here as we study in our lower classes that elements are studied like that, read like that: hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. You can see here how many periods are there: one, two, three, 4, 5, 6, and 7. That considered to be one. So one hydrogen, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 periods are there. And how many groups are there? 18 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. This yellow color column, that is 18 group, that is also known as zero group. Helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon. Then unknown biome, that is letter represented by protogenium. You can see here. So there are four blocks. Okay, and these blocks made our periodic table, modern periodic table. Okay, D block elements are called transition elements. S block elements, the first group that is from lithium to francium. Francium is a radioactive material. The first column that is called that all elements from lithium to francium are called alkali metals. Okay, because they are basic in nature. Basic nature compounds are called alkali in the language of chemistry. That's why it's called alkali metals. While the second column of the S block that is from beryllium to radium is called alkaline earth metal because they are found in earth crust. Okay, that's why it's called what? Alkaline earth. They are also basic, but less basic as compared to this first. On to the next. The only block in the whole periodic table which contain all three varieties of elements like metal, non-metals. and metabolites that are shown on your screen in blue circles. Boles UG SA sub TO. These are seven metabolites that I encircle with the blue line. Okay. These yellow elements are called the zero group or noble gases. This pink color, Filkal, Bahar, I, and T. These are called halogens. Old style say T4. They are called chalcogens. Okay, because they are ore forming. Nepal, Pakistan, Australia, sub Bhikhari. They are called nicogens because they are mostly used in fertilizer, formation of fertilizers. That's why they are called nicogens. And you can see here, this is your carbon family and this is your boron family. This is all about your people. Okay, this is your transition elements and F block elements are called inner transition. Okay, lanthanides are group of 14 elements. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14 from cerium to lutetium, cerium 58 to 71 lutetium. While actinide series start from thorium 90 to lawrencium 103. Why they are called lanthanides and actinides? Because they are followed by lanthanum 57 and actinium 89. That's why they are called lanthanides. Here, lanthanum is on 57 atomic number, while cerium is 58. So they followed the lanthanum. That's why they are called lanthanides. They are called actinides. I write this uranium here. Why? Because up to uranium, not uranium, plutonium is a plutonium here. Uranium is a radioactive material generally used in nuclear power plants. Okay, you can see here there is a plutonium. Okay, थोड़े पापड़ यूं नापो नेपच्यूनियम पुराने आम कम फेंकेंगे KF ऐसे फरमाओ मैडम नूडल आ रही. This is a trick of learning these actinides. So there is a at 94 there is a plutonium. Okay, so up to 94 all elements are generally natural and non-radioactive. Generally natural, not radioactive. Use the radioactive here. So up to plutonium they all are natural. Okay, except there is a technetium uh, below this manganese. There is a technetium, the TC. This is the first man-made element that was synthesized in laboratory. That is technetium. So you can see here up to 94 that is plutonium. All elements are natural. Okay, and after 94 all elements are synthesized in various laboratories and they all are radioactive elements. Okay, so this is a brief idea about the modern periodic table. Okay, so you can see here total gaseous element in the whole periodic tables are hydrogen, that is first gaseous element. Second is helium, neon, argon, proton, xenon, radon. Now 180 is also discovered, but we include only the ancient counting, so we can include only 11 gaseous elements. These are helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon. If we include this 118 elements, then the counting of gaseous elements become 12. Okay, so by 11 counting, you can see here how many elements. These those are gaseous 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is 7. Okay, now there's 8. So 8 nitrogen, oxygen is 9, chlorine is 10, chlorine is 11. These are the 11 elements which are gaseous in nature. What about the liquid metal, that is mercury? Liquid non-metal, that is bromine. Helium is also having very low melting points. Helium can melt in your palm also. Okay. So, next thing is, what about the most electropositive element, that is your cesium, that line in the first group. Most reactive non-metal is fluorine, that line in 17 group, halogen family. Okay. Noble gases that include in zero group. Okay. They all are called noble gases or inert gases. Come to the next. Most abundant element in a universe, that is hydrogen. Most abundant element on earth, that is oxygen. Most abundant, second most abundant element on earth is silicon. Third most abundant element is aluminum, just like OCl. Fe means iron. Fourth most abundant element on earth. But in examiner may ask about the first abundant metal in the earth, on earth, that is aluminum, because it is a metal. Oxygen is a non-metal, silicon is a metal, right? So first, the most abundant element, metal element in earth crust, that is aluminum. So you can see here, this is all about your modern periodic table that was done by Anton Mosley. And list some questions, so you have to give the answers and you have to learn as such. I also provide the answers, but this is your task that you have to complete all the questions by seeing and by listening my voice that I told you, that I teach you. Okay, so this is all about today lecture. This is your that this is your S block, this is your D block, this is your P block. Okay, and this is your worksheet. First question is, an element has an electronic configuration 1s2, 2s2, 2p6, 3s1. Determine its atomic number, group number, and period number. So suppose this question is comes into examination. Finding to determine the atomic number, just simply add these electrons that are on a superscript. 1 plus 6, that is 7, 7 plus 2, 9, 9 plus 2, that is 11. So atomic number of that element is 11. Obviously that element is sodium, because the atomic number of sodium is 11. Now we have to find the group number. So how you uh, determine the group number without seeing the periodic table? You can see here, period number is easy, very easy. Then first you have to find the period number. You can see here, you have to see the last shell. So the n value, that third is represent the n value that represent the period. So 3 that indicate that the period of that element is third. Sodium is lying in a third period. You can see the periodic table. Sodium lying in the third period because first period was occupied by hydrogen and helium. Second, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, argon, oxygen, fluorine. And third period, that is first element, that is sodium. So you can find the periodic table by just seeing the this principal quantum number, that is third. Now group number. So you can see here, you have to add the electron that present in valence shell. Now I have to tell you about the valence shell. The maximum n value is your valence shell. So you can see here 1s, 2s, 2p. So this is your first shell, and here up to 2p 6, there is a second shell, and 3 is the third shell, that is the last shell, that's why it's called valence shell. There is only one electron, that's why its group number is 1. That means sodium is lying group first, period number is third, and atomic number is 11. So By just simply seeing this electronic configuration, you can find atomic number, group number, and gender. Okay, now you can see the second question that I already talked or discussed in your modern periodic table. Even I will provide you the answers. Most electronegative element, that is fluorine. Most electropositive element, that is cesium. Most reactive element, that is cesium. If examiner asks about the metal, then you must write the cesium. Most reactive non-metal, that is fluorine. First man-made radioactive element, that is technetium. Noble elements includes noble metal as well as noble gases, that is inert gases, that is zero group. Noble metals are platinum and gold, who are the noble metals. Next is silver is not considered as a noble metal, okay, because silver may react with the some other metal. Platinum and gold are the noble metal because they do not react with the any other reagents, any other acids. They are generally in a non-reactive towards the mineral acids. That's why they are called noble metals. Come to the next, liquid elements. So basically there are uh, liquid elements like bromine, gallium, or mercury. Liquid metal, that is mercury. Liquid non-metal, that is bromine. Metalloid, there are 7 metalloids. Pollution gases of people, that is boron, silicon, germanium, like that. Gaseous elements are 11. Most abundant metal on earth, that is aluminum. Most abundant element in the universe, that is hydrogen. Element with the maximum isotopes, that is very good question that we want to know. Provide the various data about it and from the answers. Element with the maximum density, obviously radium ionosphere. Element with the maximum melting point, tungsten. That symbol is W. Provide the answers. You have to learn each and every answers. You can prepare in such a way 1 mark questions that may comes in your examination. So this is all about today lecture. Okay, you have to complete this exercise and learn this project table, long period and the groups. All the best and have a nice day.